I am Subhashni, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science Self, V.V. Vanya Perumal College for Women, Virudhunagar. Today we are going to see about multi-threaded programming. So thread. First of all, the operating system like Windows XP and Windows 7 may recognize that they execute several programs simultaneously. This ability is known as multitasking. In system terminology, it's known as multithreading. So, multithreading is a conceptual programming paradigm where a program is divided into two or more subprograms which can be implemented at the same time in parallel. A thread is similar to a program that has a single flow of control. Java enables us to use multiple flows of control in developing programs. Each flow of control may be thought of as a separate tiny program is known as a thread that runs in parallel to others. A program that contains multiple flows of control is known as a multi-threaded program. So, it's a single threaded program, that is code is placed in one class or in main method. So, threads in Java are subprograms of a main application program and share the same memory space. They are known as lightweight threads or lightweight process. It is important to remember that threads running in parallel, but it does not really mean that actually running at the same time. So, difference between multi-threading and multitasking. So, multi-threading, it is a programming concept in which the program or the process are divided into two or more subprograms or threads that are executed at the same time in parallel. In multitasking, it is an operating system concept in which multiple tasks are performed simultaneously. In multi-threading, it supports execution of multiple parts of the single program simultaneously. It's in multitasking, it's execution of multiple programs simultaneously. In multi-threading, one program is divided into more subprograms and run in parallel. But in multitasking, many other programs are run in parallel. So, in multi-threading, the processor has to switch between different parts or threads of the program. In multitasking, the processor has to switch between different programs of the processes. It is highly efficient compared to multitasking. So, in multi-threading, the thread is the smallest unit. In multitasking, the program or process is the smallest unit in a multitasking environment. In threading, it helps in developing efficient program. It's developing multitasking is efficient to develop the operating systems. Multi-threading is cost effective in case of context switching. In multitasking, it's expensive in case of context switching. So, how to create threads? So, creating threads in Java is simple. Threads are implemented in form of objects that contain the method called runoff. Runoff method is the heart and soul of the thread program. So, how to runoff program written in a code? This is a method, public void runoff. Within the runoff method, the statements for implementing thread concepts are placed. So, runoff method should be invoked by an object of the concerned thread. This can be achieved by creating the thread and initiating it with the help of another method called startup method. So, the new thread can be created in two ways. First one is by creating the thread class, and second one is by converting the class into a thread. In creating a thread class, define a class that extends that class and override its runoff method with the code required by the thread. By converting the class to thread in this method, we define the class that implements runnable interface. The runnable interface has only one method that is to be defined in the method with the code to be executed by the thread. So next, extending the thread class. We can make our class runnable as thread by extending the class java.lang.thread. This gives us access to all the thread methods directly, which include the following steps. First one is declare the class as extending the thread class. And second one is implement the runoff method that is responsible for executing the sequence of code that the thread will execute. And third one is create the thread object and call the startOf method to initiate the thread execution. So declaring the class, within the declaring class, the thread class can be extended as follows. So class myThread extend thread. myThread is a thread class name, extends thread is a thread name. So implementing runoff method. So the runoff method has inherited by the class myThread. We have to override the method in order to implement the code to be executed by the thread. So implement the thread using runoff method. So public void runoff. The thread code is placed in runoff method. So how to starting new thread? So this is a way to actually create and run a instance of our thread class. So myThread aThread is equal to new myThread. aThread is a object of myThread class. So we can create the object to call the thread class. So aThread.startOf. This is aThread is an object of myThread class. Using this object called the startOf method, and also invokes the runoff method using object aThread. So starting new thread. So myThread aThread is equal to new myThread. This is the object creation for class myThread. So in the first line initiates the new object of class myThread. Note that the statement just create the object, that is a thread. The thread that will run this object not yet running. The thread is in newborn state. And second line, a thread.startOf. This is object used to invoke the startOf method. So is causing the thread move into the runnable state. And finally stopping and blocking a thread. Stopping a thread, whenever we want to stop a thread from running, further we may do so following called the stopOf method. So this is a way to aThread.stopOf. StopOf is a method to used to stop the thread from running state. So aThread is an object. So we can write this aThread.stopOf. So and then blocking the state. So the thread can be also temporarily suspended or blocked from entering into the runnable and subsequently running state by using either of following three methods. First one is sleep-off, and second one is suspend-off, and third one is wait-off. Sleep-off method is used for block the thread for the specified time for milliseconds like this, and suspend-off method is used for block the thread until further notification or orders came. And wait-off method is used for block until certain condition occur. In case of suspend-off method, we can call the resume-off method to re-invoke the thread to the running state. In wait-off method, we should call the notify-off method. So life cycle of thread. During the lifetime of thread, there are many states it can enter. They include newborn state, runnable state, running state, blocked state, and dead state. This is a state transition diagram of a thread. So first one is newborn state. When we create the thread object, the thread is born and is said to be a newborn state. The thread is not yet scheduled for running. At this state, we can do only following things with it. First one is schedule it for running using startOf method, and then kill it using stopOf method. This is a newborn state. We can use the startOf method to enter into the runnable state, and also we can use the stopOf method to kill the thread. So second one is runnable state. The runnable state means that the thread is ready for execution and is waiting for the availability of the processor. The thread has joined in the queue of thread and that waiting for execution. If all the threads have equal priority, then they are given time slot for the execution in round robin fashion. That is FCFS manner. That is first come and first serve manner. And the thread is that control is join the queue at the end of the again and waits its turn. The process of assigning time to threads is known as a time slicing. So we can use the yield of method to return the threads to the running state. So life cycle of the thread, third one is running state. So the running means that the processor has given its time to the thread for its execution. The thread runs until it controls its own or it's represented by a higher priority thread. So the running threads may relinquish its control in one of the following situations. First one is it has been suspended using suspend off method. The suspended thread can be revived by using the resume off method. And second one is it has made to sleep. We can put the thread to sleep for the specified time period using the method sleep off, where the time is a millisecond like this. So we can use the sleep to stop the thread for particular time. So then third one is it's told to be wait some event occurs. This is done using the wait off method. We can use notifier method to revoke the thread to the runnable state. So blocked state. The thread is said to be blocked when it is prevented from entering into the runnable state and subsequently the running state. This happens when the thread is suspended or sleeping or waiting in order to satisfy certain conditions or requirements. The blocked thread is considered not runnable but not dead and therefore fully qualified to run again. So final is the dead state. Every thread has a life cycle. A running thread ends its life when it's completed executing its run off method. It's a natural death. However, we can kill by sending the stop message that is a stop off method to at any state, thus causing the premature death to it. So the thread can be killed as soon as it's born or while it is running or even when it's not runnable condition. That's all about threads. Thank you.